Okay, so we're talking about the our impressions of Awenda.
So it is middle of June 2024, and we're just wrapping up 5 days at Awenda Provincial Park.
It's been a mix of mostly chilly but also warm.
Weather was, mostly
And one
chilly.
tornado warning.
Only one seriously wet day. So maybe the cold kept the bugs down. Bugs haven't been terrible except when they were.
Yeah. So Awenda, lovely park. There's no such thing as a bad site in this park. I don't think we've driven around for most of the campgrounds, and the sites kind of vary from good to great. The worst that you see is maybe too slopey.
Or a little too far from the comfort station, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But fantastic privacy for the most part.
yeah,
Really amazing privacy.
yeah.
We're in Wolf Campground 246, and this site is actually enormous. Some of the sites are quite a bit smaller than the one we were on, but still all really good.
Yeah, I mean, this one is, I'd say, is slightly less private than a lot of sites here, but the sites are super private. And it's slightly less private just because you can see the
Our
next site over.
next door neighbors there, and also
Mind you, they weren't there most of the week. It was mostly empty.
that's true. So privacy was better when there was nobody around. We're also pretty close to the comfort station. The field behind the comfort station backs onto our site. There's a little bit of a pathway you can take to get down to comfort station when you need to do that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty handy. And also, it's nice because, like today, when it's sunny, you can see some sunlight because most of the park is actually pretty shady. I think we saw maybe 2 or 3 sites when we were looking around where the site pad was actually grass.
Yes, but that's really rare.
Really rare.
It's mostly in the forest, so which is absolutely beautiful, as you can see. So this park, though, not ideal for swimming, although if you were to go swimming, and as we know, like, you have to drive to get to the swimming, but for actual swimming, Beach 3 seems to be like the nicest one, in my opinion. It's nice and sandy, and like Beach 1 is the biggest, but you step out onto like rounded stones. Beach 3 has that nice sandy bottom, the clear Georgian Bay water and all that stuff.
And not sure which way the wind was blowing from today, but if it was the prevailing winds, then Beach 3 would also be the most sheltered.
Yeah.
So Beach 1 and Beach 4, there were white caps and a good chop on the water, and Beach 3 was very placid.
Yeah, but all the beaches are a good size, and Beach 4 was nice, but had more boulders in the water, so maybe it would be interesting for snorkeling. But you know what? The hike to get to the beaches is beautiful. That was our hike this morning, so it's lovely.
There's lots of other nice trails. So we did probably, I guess, the west half of Bluff Trail, which is the biggest trail in the park, and it was a fantastic walk.
Yeah.
They call it difficult on the guide, but that's really just because
it's long.
It's long.
But we didn't do the whole thing, so. Yeah, and what other trail did we do?
We did the Wendat Trail, which was recommended by the Coles. It was a nice trail.
I actually think if you were looking for, like, the nice thing about it, the Wendat Trail, well, it has a trail guide if you're interested in history. But I think those beach trails, which also have historical write-ups as you go along, and the views are actually even better than Wendat. You got the Georgian Bay views.
Right. Yeah. From the Wendat Trail, you can kind of get a peek at the lake most of the time. It's a little lake. It's lovely.
And if you wanted to go canoeing or kayaking, I mean, that would be the place that you would go. It's a small lake. You would be going around the lake.
Go around the lake.
It's quite a slope, like stairs or wheelchair ramp, like long wheelchair ramp, and a fair bit of stairs to get down to the water.
Or you could try your luck with Georgian Bay.
Yeah.
In terms of the amenities at the park, other than the hiking, which is nice, the park store is great. They've got a tiny little store, but it's very well provided.
Yeah.
They've got, I noticed, even propane tank exchange if you needed that. All of the food and things that you might be missing, so you don't need to drive into Penetang. And other little time-passing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
books,
no, it's
puzzles, stuff like that.
And we found that this park,
and ice cream.
yes, not that we've had yet, because
That's
it's
true.
been cool
It's been
here.
too cold for ice cream this trip.
This park is so well maintained. Like everywhere you go, you see somebody working on something. It's quite astounding, and all the staff have been super friendly too, right? They all
Yes.
say hello when you walk by, and even you drive by a guy. We drove by a guy this morning who was clearing the side of the road, and he waves as we drive by, right? Like,
Yep.
pretty great.
And we even had a pretty in-depth conversation with the park superintendent on the finer points of s'mores and roasting marshmallows. So
Yes. Right, so that's Awenda. I would come to this park again.
absolutely, this would be high on the list of go-to places, particularly if you're not looking for a beachy trip.
Oh, no cell signal. Like,
That's something to keep in mind. So I know the Coles mentioned nothing for Bell and Telus. We're on Fido, and nothing for Fido. You get the occasional little blip of something.
so you might receive a message, but you can't make calls. Even if you get a bar or two, you can't. It's not enough to get calls or internet. So, but you can drive down to the beach and sometimes get it good enough. Otherwise, it's what, a 10-minute drive into
So
Penetang?
if you drive as far as the park gate,
Yeah.
you can get an okay signal. And there was a spot. There's a road. We drive out past the registration office and drive east on the road there. There's a couple of spots where you're basically on driving beside Georgian Bay. And if you
Yeah.
can find a spot at the side of the road where it's safe to pull over, you can get an internet signal there.
Yeah, but there's nothing even at the registration office.
It's it's a good place to come if you want to be unplugged. Bad place to come if you want to consult Google frequently to solve riddles. Like, what kind of plant is that?
We had a cute little toad on our campsite.
We do. We'll have to, through the magic of editing, include a little picture of Mr. Toad.
Yes. And there's tons of woodpeckers. Can hear. I don't know if you can hear it on the video. But
So, I mean, that's something. We haven't seen any large mammals. No, not even sort of medium-sized mammals.
no raccoons. Lots of chipmunks, squirrels, woodpeckers, a toad.
I've seen a few hummingbirds, actually. We had one this morning.
Oh, did you?
Well, it was flying right by you over there when you were at the camp stove. And I've seen them flying around. So there's some hummingbirds,
But no raccoons, no bears. So
no deer,
no deer
nothing like
that we've
Haven't
seen.
seen any of that,
Yeah.
or evidence even of it.
Yeah. Although, I mean, deer are usually pretty elusive. I mean, there's tons of forest here, so I assume there must be deer.
Yeah.
But then you'd think there'd be raccoons, so I don't know.
The shore power posts
Yeah.
are up at they're up by the road, so they're very close to the end of your driveway or somewhere close by on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So and some of the driveways are quite long, so you need lots of spare extension cord to get to the power posts in this park.
Yep.
We got away with it on this trip by putting the trailer sideways across the end of the driveway down towards the big part of the pad. So, which helps with the privacy and
amazed some other people, wondering how the heck we did that.
Yes, well, we've already determined after this trip and our earlier one night shakedown trip that the caravan mover is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yep. And that brings us to the end of our video.
Right. Okay.